The gloom and doom continues across the Northeast. It's actually blowing away over parts of southeastern Massachusetts and Cape Cod with gusts up to 40 to 50 miles an hour with some of the wind. I just checked. But we still have some more work to do before weather conditions improve. Not a whole lot of severe weather going on tonight. It's focused in a small area in north central Texas and Oklahoma. We'll talk about that, take you through the Memorial Day holiday weekend, and we will look ahead to next week. And that is all front and center tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast and keep the live show commercial free. If you shop on Amazon, just use our referral link at the top of the chat board. It's pinned to the top of the chat board or on the description of this podcast. Just use the search bar and shop for your stuff, and Amazon will throw us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. It's an easy, quick way and simple way because it doesn't cost you anything out of your pocket to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. I was looking at the observations by you during the day today. I think it truly does define what miserable is as far as the weather today is concerned in the Northeast.
Yes, it was. It was it was not horrendous in the sense that we had tremendous rainfall. We only had about, I think the last time I looked at the rain gauge, we had maybe about a little under 6/10 of an inch of rain. So it really wasn't a tremendous rainfall. Haven't had any real tremendous wind either. But then again, I'm well inland away from
Right.
the influence of the coastal winds. And it was just a drab day. Cloudy skies all through the course of the day, on and off light rain, maybe a little steadier, heavier rain during the course of the afternoon. But yeah, it was not at all a very nice day at all. I could see if we had this kind of weather for, let's say, 2 or 3 months straight, this kind of weather pattern, I could see having some kind of psychological condition develop.
Right. Did you put the heat on today?
Uh, I didn't. No, I don't. I don't think we
Well, I
did.
mean,
It was
because
a
the outside temperature barely, it's been in the upper 40s pretty much everywhere.
well. I mean, it's. I can't say this is your typical May weather pattern, but then again, in recent years, this seems to be the weather pattern that we see now during the month of May.
Yep. And we had another gorgeous day here in North Georgia. Got to the low 70s for highs, blue skies and sunshine, and a nice gusty northwest wind. Uh, yeah, it got pretty breezy again today. Last 2 days have been unusual from that respect. But now we're heading into the weekend, and of course, uh, the big issue for you is how long is it going to take to clear out? Because you still have work to do. When we look at the satellite in a little while, and especially when we look at the radar, it ain't done yet.
No, it's not. We're going to continue to have precipitation tonight, precipitation tomorrow, precipitation on Saturday. Not continuous, but it'll be here and there, every which way. Uh, I'm trying to play optimist. I've kept precip out on Sunday and Monday, and Monday I've been seeing reports. People say that that'll be the best day of the lot. It'll be a glorious day, mainly sunny, beautiful blue sky. I really don't see it that way. I see it as some sunshine, but also some clouds, especially more clouds coming in later in the day, and we may have
Yeah.
more wetness to contend with on Tuesday, if not then, maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, there's another weather system coming along, so there'll be some thunderstorms uh, in places well to the west, but some of that blow off high cloudiness is certainly going to get to you. Here in the southeast, not much will happen until we probably get shower chances are going to increase as we go through the weekend and into early next week, but it's not going to be anything continuous, and certainly by anyone's definition, it is definitely not going to be a washout. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board. And to those of you watching on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, this is the last show of this work week, but we will be here Sunday. No plans yet to take it off, but we'll be here Sunday, and we'll be here Monday, Memorial Day. If you got some time, or maybe you want to take a break from whatever it is you're doing, make sure you turn your notifications on after you've subscribed to my YouTube channel. And if you liked tonight's show, or anytime you like the show, please, by all means, hit the like button. And if you really like this show, you could do what Ken Musillo did, which is bang the tip jar. Thank you, Kenneth, for banging the tip jar on this Thursday night. So, shall we get going?
Yeah, I just want to answer David Scott. He says my old stomping ground at Atlantic Beach, New York. David, I have relatives who live in Atlantic Beach, but certainly not my old stomping ground. I used to visit there, my relatives on my father's side before the divorce, maybe several times during the summer. It certainly was not my old stomp. I'll tell you how old my old stomping grounds are. I had not been anywhere near Atlantic Beach since I think the late 80s. So I don't know where you got the idea that it was my old stomping ground. Uh, I sometimes speak of Atlantic Beach, but certainly it was not some place that I stayed for any long intervals of time. And thank you, Quiet John. Quiet John has hit the tip jar as well tonight, Joe.
Yes, yay for Quiet John. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think tonight, for a change of pace, I'm going to start with the radar because it's pretty, it's very interesting what's on there at the moment. And there are two well-defined circulations in play here. And the signatures tonight on the radar are pretty impressive. Look at this swirl on the Canada side of Lake Ontario. I mean, that is your upper low, and it's so well defined. I mean, it's almost a perfect curl there, as the echoes rotate around in counterclockwise fashion. And then the surface low, which is now sitting somewhere between Montauk and Nantucket, and it's been raining pretty hard over eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, eastern Massachusetts down to Cape Cod. Actually, the rain on Long Island today was especially heavy. Most areas getting an inch and a half to 2 inches, at least as of the 7 o'clock hour. And there's still some more rain bands to the west of that. But the main area with the surface low is impacting areas in southeastern New England. I looked at Cape Cod last hour. They were gusting to 40 from the northeast. So, nor'easter conditions going on there. But this is one of those situations where the low, it got going, but the gradient didn't really tighten up for areas to the south of New York City. It got a little tighter for central and eastern Long Island. There was some gusts into the 30s, which is no big deal, really. But you're getting the bigger wind gusts there. But again, a very complex system here where the upper low doing one thing, and a separate for low and surface low to go with it is doing the main. I don't want to use the word damage, but in terms of the precipitation, this is where all the heavy stuff is going on. And again, there's a lot of bands out to the west, so there's still more showery rains to get through.
Yeah, if you give me sharing capabilities, I can show you a 12-hour loop from Boston's National Weather Service radar, and you could honestly see, especially in the latter part of the loop, the spiraling effect and this whole area. I mean, this, as you're absolutely right, Joe, most of, I would say eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island,
Go for it.
central and eastern Massachusetts, really over the last 12 hours has gotten hammered
Yeah,
by this particular system.
go
Let me
ahead.
just, so you caught it now right during the latter part of the loop, but you can see here the spiraling bands of precipitation. Now, right now, when it starts 12 hours ago, see this huge area, moderate to heavy rain coming onshore and moving across, again, eastern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, central and eastern Massachusetts, eastern Connecticut, and on up into New Hampshire. And now you can start seeing how it's winding around. Now you can see how the precipitation is moving from southeast to northwest as, again, this low pressure system really begins to spin up, so to speak. So this area right here, I mean, the New York metropolitan area has picked up, I don't know, about a half to three quarters of an inch of rain, but the real rains, the heavy rains, have been hitting off to the east. I should also mention eastern sections of Long Island, the Twin Forks area. They have also seen some significant rainfall over the last 12 hours or so. So there you go. It's been a very, very substantial, and this, I know the news media has been referring to this as a nor'easter. Yeah, and it is true, it is a nor'easter, but it hasn't really been that vicious, if you will, for New York and points south and west. The places that have been really getting hit with this is, again, coastal and eastern sections of New England. And as you can see, wherever you see the yellows and the oranges, that's where moderate to heavy rain has been falling, and it's been falling for the better part of 12 hours, again, off to the north and east of our area.
Right. Talk about miserable right now. I'm just looking at some of these obs. Providence in Rhode Island is heavy rain in 46, north at 20, gusting to 32. Worcester, 41. Okay, 41 is the temperature there right now. And moderate rain, north at 17, gusting to 29. Hartford is 45. Well, Bradley's 45 with moderate rain, north of 13 there. New Haven, north 14, gusting to 32, 49. I'm just more impressed by these temperatures. I'm trying to find some of the winds, like Boston at Logan is heavy rain, 45, north at 18, gusting to 31. Beverly, 13, gusting to 35. Lawrence, 17, gusting to 31. Bedford, 16, gusting to 30. You get the idea. I'm trying to see them out further to the east and south. So Nantucket right now is east of 28, gusting to 48.
So,
Martha's
John,
Vineyard,
I'd like to, can I just ask you a question?
yeah,
When I showed that radar just a few moments ago, did I downplay the significance of that system?
not not in particular. Why?
Okay,
No.
because Tom Contino says Rayo's constantly downplaying things. So I'm just wondering what the hell he's talking about.
I'll pay no attention to him. He's just, he's got to pick on you for whatever reason. No, I mean, this was this was for areas for New Jersey, for New York City, Long Island, mostly. This was nothing, terrible here as far as a nor'easter is concerned. Central and eastern Long Island, you said it. The rain was, certainly heavier there. And in southeastern New England, again, that's where the gradient really wound up setting up. So I'm not exactly sure why he's going down that particular road, but we all have issues, Joe. Let's
Whatever.
uh, let's look at the watches and warnings tonight, where we've got flood watches up in parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri. Severe thunderstorm watch up for parts of southwest Oklahoma, as well as north central and into some counties in northwestern Texas. In the Northeast, the only thing that we really have with respect to the nor'easter is the fact that we do have some coastal flood advisories that are up for parts of the New Jersey shore, down into Delaware. We also have them up for Long Island, both North and South Shore, as well as New York Harbor, uh, Long Island, the Westchester County shores on Long Island Sound, Southern Connecticut, and I'm just going to check Boston really quick. Also in Eastern Mass, down to Cape Cod, and then along the coast of the southern coast of Cape Cod, near Hyannis, and that's where we also have some coastal flood advisory. So I mean, it's not, it's a nor'easter. It's not a crazy nor'easter, but it's doing what nor'easters usually do. And on the satellite loop, eh, if you're south from Southern Virginia down to Georgia and North Florida, yeah, and west back into Mississippi and Alabama, you had a beautiful day today, and Tennessee. You start to go up north. Northern Virginia, West Virginia, all of Pennsylvania, and points north and east. It's just a solid overcast. And you can see the rotation that's off of the coast of Cape Cod. And also the fact that the circulation with the upper low goes all the way back to the Western Lakes. This is just not going to get out of the way very quickly at all. So I think we'll probably see marginal improvement Friday, and then a little bit more on Saturday, and it'll probably show up much better for Sunday and Monday in areas in the Northeast and in the northern Mid Atlantic states.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I would agree 100%. I'm thinking the reason why he says I'm downplaying it is that I said, in the New York metropolitan area, it wasn't much of a nor'easter, and it was, and as I said, far more significant across eastern Connecticut, eastern Long Island, and into Rhode Island and eastern Massachusetts. Now, if this were a significant nor'easter, I doubt very seriously that the Yankees, for example, who did get their game in today, they had an afternoon game and they played. There was no real weather problems for them. Yeah, it rained a little bit, but there really wasn't any roaring wind and there really wasn't any heavy rainfall. So I'm telling the truth. It was not a significant storm in the immediate tri-state area.
Right.
Now, if you're talking about Worcester, if you're talking about Providence, if you're talking about Boston, Concord, New Hampshire, yeah, now I agree. But I said that, didn't I say that?
You did say it. Yeah, you
I
did.
didn't. I don't understand. I don't
Now let
understand
it
some.
go, Joe. It's Thursday. We've got 2 days off. Just let it go. Some boom booms are popping up there in North Texas, west of Dallas, well west of Dallas, but they're there, and also in southern Oklahoma. And it's probably going to get busier, severe weather-wise, in the plains, in parts of the Mississippi Valley, and then eventually across the South as we go through the week. And again, not washout weekends, but you're going to be dealing with showers and thunderstorms for sure. Here's a wider radar view to give you a little more perspective. We've got some activity. We actually even had a severe thunderstorm warning in South Florida, just west of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. We are seeing more numerous severe thunderstorms in that complex across north central Texas, with a few of those yellow boxes popping up, and even a flash flood warning that's popped up there. Lone severe cell there in northeastern Arkansas, and we've got some scattered areas of shower activity in parts of Montana and Wyoming. The Storm Prediction Center tonight showing enhanced risk. It's very small, the area geographically, the area that's in Texas where we've got two working severe thunders. Is it two or one? It was two before. It's one. Severe thunderstorm watch box up. Smaller area of marginal risk in eastern Colorado, southeasternmost Wyoming, and western Nebraska. Also northwest Wyoming and into southwestern Montana, where we have a marginal risk. Marginal risk in South Florida, small area of marginal risk over Chesapeake Bay and the Delmarva Peninsula. They got general thunderstorms, Joe, extending all the way northeastward up to coastal Maine. And if you look at what's going on the radar with the upper low, I suppose there might be a stronger cell in there or two. I didn't see any thunderstorms, but certainly I see some showers in there. I mean, some heavier downpours.
Well, that, and up until yesterday, the area of general thunderstorm coverage was solely near the coastal plain, including New York and parts of Long Island. And now, as you just pointed out, it's further north. It's further up the coast. But that holds true because with an intensifying storm, the benchmark of an intense storm or an intensifying storm is convection, is thunderstorms.
Yeah.
And as we just saw on the radar, a lot of that activity is just hammering portions of eastern New England right now. Not much here in the immediate New York area, but all of the action now looks like it's shifted over to our north and to our east.
Mr. Contino is extending deepest apologies, Joe, saying that it's out of frustration over waiting for a nor'easter for over a year. So there you go. Tomorrow, the Friday into Saturday, slight risk covering Kansas, northern Oklahoma, southern Nebraska, northwest Colorado. There's a small area of 2% tornado risk tomorrow. The main risk I think is going to be wind and hail, and they even have an area in northwest Kansas into western southwest Nebraska where the possibility of 2-inch hail is likely. And then as we go into Saturday, this is Saturday into Sunday morning. You've got a finger of marginal risk extending across Mississippi, Alabama into western Georgia, northwest Georgia. Slight risk over Oklahoma and a small portion of northwest Texas, and the marginal risk going into Missouri, Kansas, and to eastern Colorado. As we go through the weekend, some of these thunderstorms are going to also wind up being big rain producers because WPC in an area from northeast Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, southwest Missouri, and southeastern uh, Kansas has a 5 to 7 inch rainfall area outline and fairly generous area of 2 to 3 inches that goes from the southern plains all the way into the Tennessee Valley. The Northeast, what you're seeing is mostly for tonight and tomorrow, another additional quarter to a half an inch in New York State and back through New Jersey. And we're still seeing another half to 3/4 of an inch or more on top of what's fallen so far in southeastern and also into northern New England. So pretty busy there. And William Uber pointing out, Joe, that it is snowing in Mount Washington, which I guess is not exactly a huge surprise that it's doing that uh, right before the Memorial Day holiday weekend, because Mount Washington just snows there. And also want to show you an area of heavy precip in parts of South Dakota and Nebraska. Not much going on in the Southwest. So we actually have, this is the second time when you take a look at this. I mean, I don't know why they define, well, it's my own fault by paying attention to all of this. But we had an omega block that broke down. And I mean, I suppose, you got a cutoff in the Gulf of Alaska and you got a cutoff over the east and a ridge in the middle. But there's also a split flow here, so it's a little bit different. So let's call it omega block-ish or omega-ish. For some reason, I'm trying to draw on the map, but I can't get my drawing thing to come up. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Never mind. But yeah, here's your upper low. This is for Friday night, by the way, and there's your upper low in the Gulf of Maine. So you kind of have, this omega look to it, but there's also this split flow with a reasonable southern jet that is in the mix. So it's not the more classic omega block, but that upper low pulls out, but they're still troughing in the east. So you have to really wait for that whole trough to swing around, and it doesn't really do that until we get into Sunday, and then finally clears out offshore after that. And as we move into next week, there's another upper low that's going to cut off in the western lakes, and you see it there, and it makes for a nice little trough and another cutoff in the east later next week or late next week, if you believe the European. So we're not done with this pattern, and then another trough drops into the east beyond that as we go to June 3rd and 4th, and it's moving along in the sequence here, still showing troughing in the east through June 6th. So, again, you look at this sort of pattern, Joe, it's very hard to imagine how you're going to get temperatures to go, above normal. You're looking for early summer heat. It ain't going to happen anytime in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it looks like the warm weather is going to be confined over the next couple of weeks, mainly over the western United States, and here in the east, it's either going to be below normal or near normal. And yeah, I don't see any sign of any kind of significant heat wave, so to speak, until maybe we sometime get somewhere into the month of June, which, by the way, is right around the corner. The last day of the month of May is 1 week from this Saturday, believe it or not.
Yes, it is. Pretty soon, half the year will be over. Wasn't it just Thanksgiving? I mean, it just goes so fast. As you get older, it goes faster and faster. There's your surface low, goes into the Gulf of Maine. Again, now the upper low is going to be in play, so you have to put showers in the forecast for Friday. Nothing continuous unless you're way up in upstate New York, and you'd still have to include them on Saturday, although you could make a case that shower activity may be more inland than at the coast. Sunday, I think there's a chance we could, we'll see. There's still instability that pops up on Sunday. But finally, Monday, there's enough high pressure to make for a nice day. Now, the only thing, Joe, you were talking about arriving clouds, it's a little more suppressed. You got almost a 10:30 high in on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and most of the shower and thunderstorm activity that's showing up is much further west than it was yesterday. So maybe that makes Monday, a decent day. Not a,
Hey,
you
look,
know,
anything.
anything's better than what you got.
I mean, a 60% or 70% cloud cover with 30% sunshine would be better than anything that we had here locally today. So there's no place that we can go but up from here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And here we go, as far as areas that are going to get severe weather, you're seeing the European fire up some storms over Kansas and Oklahoma on Friday. And then they just start to become more numerous as we move through the weekend, particularly not so much on Saturday, but for Sunday and Monday. And even I get into some of these. And the Europeans also continuing to show these uh, rather impressive looking lines of thunderstorms, this east-west line of storms moving southward through Oklahoma, Arkansas, into Texas and Louisiana, come Sunday into Sunday night, and then on Memorial Day, they're all pretty much still going on across much of the deep South, from Texas to Georgia and the Carolinas, and then later next week, it tries to lift up another low. Only this time, the European anyway, wants to hold it back. The rain never seems to get back in until late in the week when you have something more potent that moves off the mid-Atlantic coast and heads out southeast to Cape Cod. So, uh,
You know, what's concerning to me about Memorial Day also is on the European, the 12Z European run, is that at 18Z Monday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on
yeah, there's
Memorial
some
Day,
showers.
they have showers over portions of the Hudson Valley, at least, part of Orange County, for example, and further north up into portions of Ulster and Sullivan County. So you got to, and that's why I'm reluctant to say sunny or mostly sunny or partly to mostly sunny. I think
Mhm.
the best thing to say is some sun.
Yeah, no,
And
I agree with you. Yeah, there's a little when you look at the upper air for Monday. I mean, you still have, there's still part of that trough is still hanging back into western New York and Pennsylvania. There might be like a little shortwave that's in there and that's just sort of rotating around. So yeah, I wouldn't disagree. And then you see the new upper low that forms for later in the week. Although this cutoff is a little different, the way it forms it just kind of drops it down south into Virginia and North Carolina. I will say this, at least for me, with this type of upper air pattern here in the southeast, and another trough late next week that drops down, we're going to have a rather cool start to the month of June, which makes me happy because it makes it a whole lot easier to work outside in the garden when the temperatures are cool. And yes, Tom, you haven't been on the last few nights. We were just making the point of the fact that the GFS is on a really just horrible streak lately where it just doesn't seem to know what is going on half the time. So I've been kind of staying with the European, and I'm just looking at it today. I mean, it's not that much different than the European does, than what the European is showing. Uh, but it's just been it's been really squirrely. Let's put it that way. Really, really squirrely. And a lot of the scoring that they do when they check the verification of the models against each other has shown that the GFS is in some, oh, very bad place right now. So anyway, do you have Briller Jeopardy or do I?
no, I hadn't.
Okay,
I hadn't.
let's
And
roll through this because it's Thursday and we've got the next 2 days off. So let's get this done.
oh, well, this is, I thought we would do the Briller Jeopardy marathon round, you know, 48 hours of Briller Jeopardy.
Yes, go for it.
uh, yeah, just about a week or two ago on the rerun of the Dick Van Dyke Show on MeTV, they had the episode where before he got the job with Alan Brady, Dick Van Dyke was working at a radio station and he was on for 100 consecutive hours. That was a
I
very
remember
funny.
that episode.
That was a very funny episode. All right. So, according to the chairman, one more time with annual rainfall for these cities. This is now annual, 1 year's worth of rain for the following cities, and these are averages now. And we'll start with Tampa.
Tampa, Florida.
No, Tampa, Nebraska.
Is there a Tampa, Nebraska?
I don't know.
Well, I
I
mean,
know
there's a
I know there's a
Miami.
Pittsburgh. There's a Pittsburgh,
There's a
Kansas.
Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, and there's a
Um,
Pittsburgh, Kansas. So,
right,
yeah, Tampa, Florida. I'm going to assume it's Tampa,
Tampa.
Florida.
I'm trying to remember the other day with Jacksonville was like I think was Jacksonville like 61. So I'll say 60.
Not a bad guess, but a little bit on the high side,
All
Mister
right.
Choppy.
Bobby Livingsworth says 58. Northern Grace says double nickels.
That's that's even closer.
Uh,
I see William Huber has 57, still a little on the high side.
Rich Rothmansky 52. Vincent Croce.
52 is 52 is Snake Country, and Vincent
Okay.
and Vincent, and Vincent Croce is also in Snake Country with 54.
So
So what
that
does that
means it's 53.
53? That's right. How about hey Sam? It's a lady for you. She says she's from St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, Emma.
Uh, St. Louis, I'll say, 38.
Oh, not high enough, Joe.
Not high enough. Okay. Um, well, I think James Davidson said 54 is way too high.
That's too high. Yes.
Northern Grace, Maggie P at 42.
CWTR Shark, Snake Country, and same for Mike Waterhouse Bonsai with 43, and
Mark,
William Huber too, and Frank Scalero with 43.
well, Mark D 42 says 44.
Well, but Maggie P and Northern Grace got it with 42.
42. Okay.
42. Gonna ring that bell for 42. There you go. There you go, ladies. San Francisco.
Oh, I'm not so sure how about the West Coast. I don't know what number to throw for Frisco. Um,
It was raining hard in Frisco.
yeah, but there's a rainy season there, so it's like it's all compressed into 6 months. So it's not a number that it's high, and it's not far enough up to the Pacific Northwest where you could go to something big. I'll say I'll say 34.
Much too high,
Yeah,
Joe.
I thought so. Yeah.
I will tell you, Rich Rothmansky, right there almost with 23.
Maggie P's got 25.
That's a touch too high.
All right. Northern Grace has 21.
That is also very close, but a touch too low.
So the Bonsai Man at 22.
22. Mike Waterhouse Bonsai, congratulations, 22 degrees. How about Tulsa?
Oh, tonight's no. This is like torture. Um, I'll say 34 again. I'm sure it's too high, but 34.
34? Too
Yeah,
low.
too low. That's what I meant. Too low.
Yeah.
Uh, um, Rothmansky's got 41 because he knows his stuff.
Rothmansky is very close. Not high enough, but very close with that 41.
Well, Scalera is at 45, so that's too high.
That's too high.
So it's got to be what, 42, 43?
No, well, I said we had one that was too low. Rothmansky was 41, and somebody else at 45. That's a little too high, and the other one was a little too low. So Vincent
Bonsai,
Croce, Vincent Croce,
Bonsai and Croce, attorneys at law, 43.
Latex Dreams, 43, 43. Who else had 43? Mike Waterhouse Bonsai, 43. Ta-da! Last one. Oh, wait a minute. It's not the last one because we also have a bonus. 5, Virginia Beach.
Oh, God. 40.
Would you say 40, Joe?
Yeah.
Up way too low.
Yeah, I figured. My heart's not in it tonight. Carol DeCaris at 41, so she's way too low, too.
Yes.
William Uber
Mike,
and Rothmansky at 46.
Mike Waterhouse Bonsai, you get the bell with 50.
50.
50.
Rich missed by 4. That's really unusual because Rich knows his climate stuff since he works in weather, so he should know this stuff. He should know it. That's an
And now,
unusually distant
and now
miss from him.
the bonus. Asheville.
That Asheville.
Yes.
Jesus.
And Rich says he's tired today. We're all tired. It's
Yeah, we're all
Thursday.
tired. It's been a long week.
You want to be
I'll
tired? You want to be
say
tired? You want to be
I'll
tired? Spend 9 hours running after a 15-month-old kid
right.
running around your house.
Asheville 44.
Asheville 44, a little on the low side,
A
Joe.
little low. A little low. Rothmansky's at 46.
A little closer,
Okay. Northern Grace is at 47.
and that's in Snake Country. So
And
what do you
Maggie
think?
P is at 48.
48. Maggie P, you got it. There you go. Hey, I got a briller. Well, it's a Rayo Jeopardy question.
Yeah,
The best trivia question.
the capital of Kentucky is Frankfurt. Go on.
No, it's not. The best trivia questions are about something you have seen innumerable times,
Mm-hmm.
and you're asked a question about about that one specific thing, and you have to think. You ready? Oh, Renata's already signing off.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, by the way, Renata, you when I posed this question to you a couple of days ago, I said you got it, but then I took a second look and you didn't get it. You ready for the question?
Mm-hmm.
In The Wizard of Oz, how many of you have ever seen the movie The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's seen it. And probably as everybody on the chat board has seen it at least 30 or 40 times in their lifetime. In The Wizard of Oz, in the segment where the wizard promises Dorothy he will take her back to Kansas himself in a hot air balloon.
Right.
What does it say on the hot air balloon?
Oh, yeah, there's something with that phrase. Oh, gee, like eat at Joe's or something.
I'll even do the music. Dun 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 dun. What does it say on the hot air balloon?
Um, I,
My friends, my friends. No, that's not what it says. But
yeah, no, it's, I forgot, but I've heard this question before. I heard this before.
well,
You know
Northern
what
Grace. She says World Fair, Northern Grace. No, that's not what's on the balloon. See, it's a great trivia question because everybody has
it's
seen
a
the movie.
reference to it's a reference to something in Kansas. It's a reference to something in Kansas.
Is it State Fair? I will say, Rich Rotmansky, you're partially right. And Joe Rayo's hitting the rum candy tonight.
Yes.
Something State
Well,
Fair. State Fair is on the balloon, but there's one other thing on the balloon. What is it?
I don't know. What is it?
State Fair, Kansas? No. Tom Contino? No. Golden State Bear? No. It's on the balloon, and next time it's on, look for it. Check it out. State Fair, Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha. And yeah, that's right. Omaha. Well, no, not Omaha State Fair. State Fair, Omaha. And the question is, he says he's going to take Dorothy back to Kansas. He says, I'm an old Kansas man myself. P.S. Wizard, Omaha's not in Kansas. It's in
It's
Nebraska,
in
so I'm right.
Nebraska. Just like
Richmond,
just like Frankfurt is
Richmond,
the
Omaha
capital of
Steaks.
Kentucky.
All right.
When Paul
Tomorrow
Lind,
night,
remember when
Sunday,
Paul
on
Lind was
Sunday.
asked when Paul Lind was asked this question in The Wizard of Oz, the lion wanted courage, the straw man wanted a brain. Um, what did the Tin Man want?
Repeat the question again about the.
The lion in The Wizard of Oz, the lion wanted courage, the straw man wanted a brain.
Yes,
What did the Tin Man want?
he wanted a heart, right?
No, he wanted the straw man to notice him. That's that's a Paul Lynde joke from Hollywood Squares. Don't hang me out to dry. Okay.
God love you, Paul Lynde.
He was also asked, how many men on a hockey team? And his response was about half.
Joe, I
Maybe
think
I
it's
should
Thursday
say that
night. It's time to say goodnight.
time to say goodnight. Okay, good. Um, before I tell you the joke I told you last night, that would get me into trouble.
Oh no,
Uh,
don't tell the joke.
oh, I'm not going to tell that. All right, folks. Have a good day. Have a good night. A good Friday and Saturday. Um, it's a 3 day holiday weekend from work. Monday, of course, is Memorial Day, and remember, don't go around saying Happy Memorial Day.
No,
Okay, Memorial Day is a somber day. It's a day of remembrance for those who gave up their lives for our country, so that we can live in a free nation. And please bear that in mind. Take a moment out of your time Monday to remember that and remember those folks. All right, we'll see you on Sunday night at 7:35. Bye bye.
bye bye, folks.